One here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we're going to be talking about some decks you could be playing post-Dark NeoStorm. I felt like, seeing as the sneak peek was this weekend, and seeing as there's decks, other stuff that is coming out this week, I thought it would be appropriate to talk about some decks that you could actually consider playing during Dark NeoStorm. Post-Dark NeoStorm's release. So today we're just going to be talking about 5 decks that I feel like are really interesting, really fun, and also get more support during Dark NeoStorm, and decks you could consider playing because of it. So without further ado, let's get into the video, because I want to talk about some decks you guys could consider playing post-Dark NeoStorm. So to start off with, is a deck that's actually getting no support during Dark NeoStorm, but its structure deck is being released this week in Europe, and that is the Endymion structure deck. The Endymion deck, the Endymion structure deck, the Endymion strategy. Now, this is a new strategy that's being released into the TCG for us in Europe this week, that essentially is a new pendulum strategy that boosts pendulums to a very big degree. Now, this strategy is essentially very spell counter based, where you use stuff like the Endymion Servants to be able to special summon Endymions from your main deck or your extra deck. And also being able to utilize the Sorcerer Supreme to summon himself from the Pendulum Scale to be able to essentially nuke your opponent's board. Now, this strategy is very based on through spell counters, so you're going to be able to be able to utilize tons of different spells. But don't worry, this is covered through cards such as the Endymion Citadel, which basically every time you activate a spell card, it gains a counter. If you would activate a spell card, a spell or a monster or an effect that requires spell counters, you can remove spell counters from the field spell to essentially give be able to use the effect of your Endymion cards. Now, there are obviously other strategies you can incorporate into the Endymion strategy as well, that it really does boost it and makes it very meta competitive. There's strategies such as the Mythical Beasts, such as King Jackal and Master Cerberus, being able to search out King Jackal with Master Cerberus, and then Jackal being able to summon out Master Cerberus to be able to banish monsters your opponent controls, being able to utilize Jackal to make multiple negates, or you can even incorporate stuff like the Magician strategy, which essentially gives you access to level 8 synchros, level 7 synchros, Xyz monsters, and all sorts. So you can actually use a lot of different things with the Endymion strategy, and thanks to its being released in the structure deck this week, there's so much opportunity to actually be made to play it post-Dark NeoStorm. So this is the first deck that I wanted to talk about. It's a deck that is actually really fun to play. It's very spell counter oriented, which is something we actually haven't had in the game for, I think, for a very long time at least. And it just is really interesting to see that a deck like this is actually coming out in today's meta game, and is actually something that could actually be very competitive, seeing as it's a deck that utilizes tons of spell counters. It's a deck that can build multiple negates. Literally, I've been able to make boards with this deck of Jackal King, Sorcerer Supreme, who can actually negate spell and trap cards as well, Decode Talker, Vortex, and Borrowload Savage Dragon. So you're able to make a 6 negate board very consistently in this deck, because the Endymions exist, and also because you can just incorporate it with tons of different pendulum strategies to actually make a very broken pendulum deck. So Endymion is the deck I wanted to talk about first. It's a very interesting strategy that uses spell counters, other pendulum archetypes, and is actually really fun to play. So this is the first deck I wanted to talk about. It's definitely an option to play this format, and is actually very meta relevant. Now, the next deck that I wanted to talk about isn't so competitive, but is actually still a lot of fun to play, and that is the Witchcrafters, another spell-oriented deck, which basically utilizes the Witchcrafters in general to basically special summon out bigger Witchcrafter monsters. You use little Witchcrafter monsters, such as the level 3, the level 2, and the level 4, which you discard spell cards, to special summon bigger monsters, such as Master Veer, Witchcrafter Master Veer, which actually has an effect to negate all monster effects on the board. So this strategy is actually really cool, and it's actually getting more support in Dark NeoStorm through the card called sorry, I've got it right next to me and I forgot the name. Golem Aurora, which actually has a really good effect when, if your opponent activates an effect that targets a witchcraft monster, or a spellcaster monster, or battles a spellcaster monster that you control, you can special summon this card from your hand, target a witchcraft spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or target an opponent's monster and return that monster to the hand. Now, this is an effect that actually really gives a lot of support to the Witchcraft archetype, and it really does give it a boost. So I felt like it was an actual good better strategy to play, seeing as before we get this card, the deck is actually very inconsistent and very hard to actually play with, because you don't really have a lot of protection from stuff like targeting or battle, and you don't have a lot of protections outside of maybe like the Secret Village, outside of Secret Village, and your spell cards that really don't do a lot outside of maybe searching and reviving your cards. So I felt like, also the one that protects you from one destruction, but you get my point. But I felt like this deck is actually a really cool strategy that we get boosted from the Dark NeoStorm set, and it's something definitely that I would consider playing and having fun with, because it is a very fun strategy and it is enjoyable to play in the long run as well. But yeah, the next deck I wanted to talk about was Destiny Heroes. Yes, Destiny Heroes are getting a whole revamp of support in this set, such as Destiny Hero Draw Guy, Destiny Hero Dominate Guy, and Destiny Hero Diffusion Destiny, which is actually a Shadow Fusion-esque spell in this set. Which essentially allows you to fusion summon a Destiny Hero monster using monsters from your main deck or hand, and it dies during the end phase. But the fact of the matter is, it summons Destiny Hero monster. It's a Shadow Fusion, and we also get a really cool new Link monster in the set through Destiny Extra Hero Cross Guy, which lets you summon Destiny Hero monsters from your graveyard, and lets you tribute Destiny Hero monsters to search any hero monster from your deck. Now, this card does lock you into heroes in the extra deck, but basically, this strategy has been boosted so much thanks to these cards, the Destiny Heroes strategy, that the deck is actually a lot more entertaining. The deck is a lot more fun. Sure, you may be more focused on playing something like Dark Claw Turbo in the deck, but the deck actually has a lot of new abilities that it once didn't have. So it has a load of stuff. It has also stuff like this old stuff, such as Celestial, Destiny Hero Malicious, Doom Guy, Destiny Hero Dangerous, that allows you to discard a card from your hand, send a Destiny Hero from your deck to the graveyard, Malicious. Level 6, it can incorporate Beatrice. Like, the deck has a lot of cool strategies to actually play with, and seeing as Destiny Hero are getting the huge buff from their support, it really is a fun deck that you guys could consider playing post-Dark NeoStorm. So, we've got stuff like Fusion Destiny, Draw Guy, that when it's summoned by a hero effect, both players draw one card. Yeah, you're giving your opponent a draw, but that one draw could give you, the draw you're giving your opponent could have a Dark Lore on board, so you get to banish a card from your opponent's hand as well, which is actually really cool. Sorry. And you've also got cards such as the Dominant Guy, which is actually just a really cool fusion monster that takes 3 Destiny Hero monsters. So, with the new Link monster, the new Destiny Hero Fusion spell, and the amount of Destiny Hero support that we actually have, I feel like this is actually a really interesting strategy to actually play, and you could see it doing so much with what we actually have right now. So, Destiny Hero is definitely another interesting archetype to actually consider playing post-Dark NeoStorm, because of all the support they're actually getting in this set, with a Shadow Fusion, a Draw Power, and a Link monster that summons Destiny Hero monster from the graveyard and searches any hero in the game. So, just from those cards alone, I feel like this Destiny Heroes is a fun deck to actually play, and definitely a strategy you guys should consider picking up and playing for yourselves. But yeah, the next deck I wanted to talk about is Orcust. Now, Orcust gets a really big buff in this set. Now, obviously, with the ban list coming out, you might not be able to be playing the Azeroth Turbo build, but with the support we're getting in this set, we get Long Girsu, and the new counter trap for Orcust, which actually boosts the deck very far as well, because Long Girsu can protect all cards on your board. So if a card on your board would be destroyed, detach a material from Long Girsu, negate the destruction. And also, when Long Gears is summoned, you can target one monster, just so we can clarify that. No, you can send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So, summon Long Gears on top of a Link monster, so you can summon it on top of Galatea. Then you get to send a card from your opponent's board to the grave, and if any of your cards would be destroyed, then you can detach a material from Dong Gearsu, and just get rid of stuff. You just get rid of things very easily, and it's Ding Gearsu, not Dong Gearsu. But you get so much advantage from this card in general, and plus the counter trap where you can negate any spell or trap activation or monster effect, I believe, as well. And also, you're able to banish the trap from the graveyard to add any Dark Machine from your deck to your hand. So, guess what? Dark Machines you can add any of the Orcus cards. If you're playing decks outside of that, Cosmo, if you're playing any Dark Machine archetype, this is it. This gives you support. But it does lock you into Dark Machines, but even still, being able to just gain that additional search and also have the ability to have a counter trap that gives you the ability to search is actually really insane. And with Orcus gaining these cards, it just boosts the Orcus strategy in further, helps the tropological strategy a lot because you just make Ding Gearsu, make Bomber Dragon. Oh, you summon a monster into your links into a linked zone, and you don't want that monster to die. Detach from Ding Gearsu. Your card is protected. So it's really getting a big boost from this set, and I feel like Orcus is just going to become even more meta relevant as we go along the line, seeing as it is a very cool strategy, a very fun strategy, and as soon as Fot gets banned or the rank up magic gets banned, the strategy becomes a lot more fairer. So yeah, Orcus, another really fun deck to play in this format. And the final deck, a deck that is one of the top contenders in the format, and if you aren't already playing it, I highly suggest you play it, is Suliman Great. Now, in Dark NeoStorm, Suliman Great actually gets a really huge boost with a card called Cynet Mining. Now, Cynet Mining is a card that lets you send any card from your hand to the graveyard to search one level 4 or lower Cyverse monster. What are Suliman Great's Cyverse monsters? So, this is a card that actually boosts the consistency of the deck even further than it already is. Because with this card, you're able to play free Cynet Mining, you're able to play free Cynet Mining, free Lady Debug, free Gazelle, free Suliman Great Circle. That's 12 cards to get that, to either get you to Gazelle, get you to your combo, or just let you play the game in just such a huge fashion. So this deck is just gaining more and more support as we go along, and with Cynet Mining coming out, the deck just becomes so much better, being able to increase the consistency of the deck, increase the combo of the deck, make the deck even more better than it once was, give us more searchability in the deck, and also the deck basically becomes 10 times faster than what it already is, just from this one card, because, oh, I discard a Suliman Great card, I add Gazelle to hand, I summon Gazelle from the hand, because, guess what? It's a free summon. Card left the board, card went from the field to the graveyard, that's Suliman Great, summon it from my hand because it's in the hand at the resolution of the card. And also the deck also gets one more card of bit of support from this set that is actually good, and that is Suliman Great Recurrence, which lets you target 2 Suliman Great monsters in your graveyard with different names and add them to your hand, so you get more recursion in this deck, which is one of the things that the deck actually did kind of need, because you're not always going to have the ability to recycle all of your cards in Suliman Great, and that is one of the problems you can have in the grind game, where you need to recycle one, like a Sunlight Wolf or a Gazelle to the hand, or a Spinny or a Fowl or a Falco. This card basically allows you to recycle your extra deck, your main deck, and just give you those additional cards that you might need to actually win the game. And also, if you want to say it as a bluff, you can, because when it dies by a card effect and is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Suliman Great spell or trap card from your deck to your hand as well. So it gives you the ability to search Suliman Great Circle as well. So just another card to add to the Suliman Great strategy that boosts the consistency and helps with the grind game as well. So further ado, Suliman Great just getting a huge buff from Dark NeoStorm with the ability to get a searcher, which just lets you send any card to the graveyard to search, something that lets you just do your whole combo, seeing as one Lady Debug is technically an OTK in the deck, and also getting a recursion card, which is Suliman Great Recurrence, is just really, really insane. But guys, these were 5 decks that I personally thought were really cool, really good, and just really fun to play at times. Like, I admit Suliman Great might not be the funnest deck to you, or Orcus might not be the funnest deck to you, but these decks all have their own unique playstyle. They all have their own way to build their boards, play the game, be really interesting and really fun. And they're all decks that really do get a boost post-Dark NeoStorm, really do become relevant post-Dark NeoStorm, such as the Endymion deck, which wouldn't really be relevant till Dark NeoStorm, because it's a little before Dark NeoStorm, I admit, but in Europe, we get it basically on the release of Dark NeoStorm. So, guys, that's just the video. All these decks, I believe, will be really good post-Dark NeoStorm. They're all decks that I should definitely recommend you trying out, playing, maybe picking up yourselves. The Witchcraft and the Destiny Heroes, definitely fun picks to play next format. With Destiny Heroes just getting so much support and having so much support as is to basically boost the consistency of the deck, getting a really cool Link monster, of basically having a Shadow Fusion in the deck itself, and having like draw power cards in the graveyard and Malicious, is through cards like Celestial and Malicious. And just having so much consistency in that point, and also having something like Witchcraft that can actually be a floodgate-oriented deck, which can also utilize stuff like Summon Limit, Secret Village of the Spellcasters to be able to stop spells, and just you incorporate floodgates. Both are really cool archetypes that you guys should definitely consider playing, and obviously all the other ones that are basically meta, such as Orcus, Suliman Great, Endymion, all really fun strategies to actually play. But guys, that's the video. Tell me what you think of it in the comments section below. Tell me if you're going to try any of these decks. Tell me if you're going to play any of these decks. I personally feel like they're all good decks you should consider playing post-Dark NeoStorm. And yeah, guys, so just tell me all your thoughts of it in the comment section below, because I want to hear your thoughts of opinions down there. But guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to press the like button. If you want to see more content from my channel, don't forget to press the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future Yu-Gi-Oh videos, don't forget to press the notification button to be notified of any future Yu-Gi-Oh videos that I upload, plus streams that I do at 8 PM UK time on Thursday afternoons. But guys, these are some fun decks to play. I will definitely be playing Endymion and Suliman Great, and I will see you guys next time. You'll also see a Destiny Hero build from me at some point. So, later. Robert1, signing out. Bye, guys.